This video series is very informative, and some material presented may be disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
So Johnson & Johnson said blood clots have been reported with all COVID-19 vaccines. The author of the study they cited says they're wrong. So the author saying they're wrong, and this is from CNN. I wanted to read some of this because I want you all to get some of the context. Okay, now. Okay, so when news broke, this is on CNN, when news broke that Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine might be linked to blood clots, the company responded by pointing a finger at Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, issuing a media statement that said a study showed there were reports of blood clots with their vaccines as well. That's what they said. That's what J&J said. Okay, so it says, but the study doesn't show that at all. That's what the lead author said. Okay. And the lead author was basically saying, we didn't find anyone with blood clots. That's what they said. Dr. Unjuli, an assistant professor of medicine at Weill Cornell Medical College, said of her study of Moderna and Pfizer vaccines, she said, we didn't find any of those scary things that are happening with Johnson & Johnson. See, that language right there. That's what I was thinking. That's kind of weird, okay? We didn't find any of those scary things with Johnson & Johnson. In other words, Johnson & Johnson is the one that got the bad things going on. Well, earlier we were showing some reports. And that's why I'm thinking I probably didn't even need to read this, but I want to read this because of the final report of why I kind of was upset about all this stuff. Because this is around that time when people were just, the whole initial rollout for Johnson & Johnson was good until they put the brakes on. And then after they put the brakes on, like I told you, the nurse talked to my wife, and then the word got out, oh, blood clots and stuff, stay away from Johnson & Johnson. And everybody like, I ain't getting no Johnson & Johnson. I'm getting Moderna, or I'm getting Pfizer. And that's what you kept hearing. And I'm like, wow, if people did a little bit more research, then they would know what the risks are. And then they can talk to their doctor or their hematologist and say, okay, am I a candidate for any vaccine? I even got a neighbor who had COVID. She had COVID. And what happened was, I said, hey, you getting vaccinated? Oh, my doctor said I can't get vaccinated yet. So they said I got to wait like 4 weeks. So that's what I've been hearing now. I hear that a lot of people who either had COVID or they are not a candidate right now, they can get vaccinated later. So what happened was, continuing with this report, among the more than 7 million people who received the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine, at least 7 have experienced very rare blood clots in the brain. 1 man during clinical trials and 6 women during the vaccine rollout, which has been put on pause because of the blood clot concerns. Now, Johnson & Johnson is coming under fire for stoking fear about Pfizer and Moderna's vaccine when in fact Johnson & Johnson's shot is the only one authorized in the U.S. with reports of blood clots. See, this is not to exonerate or to condemn Johnson & Johnson. This is just to basically let you know there's something else going on, and I hope you all can catch it. In its media statement, Johnson & Johnson wrote, there had been reports of blood clots with all COVID-19 vaccines. It said, the study by Lee and her colleagues looked at U.S. Food and Drug Administration data in tens of millions of people who had received the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine and found in a small number who developed low platelet levels. The study did not look for or analyze blood clots at all. Let me read that again. What's basically they're saying is that, hey, the studies that we had, meaning Pfizer, Moderna, that was just about low platelet levels. The study did not look for, see, that's fishy. you're not looking for or analyzing blood clots at all. Well, maybe that's on the official note. I know some people might say, well, you shouldn't say that. Well, I'm going to say it because why you're not looking for that? Make you wonder, right? Why are you not looking for that? Meaning you need to at least analyze it and look for it to determine if that's not true or so. It says, that is a really irresponsible thing to say, said Dr. Paul Offit, referring to the J&J media statement. Offit, a vaccine expert at the University of Pennsylvania, is a member of the FDA advisory panel that reviewed emergency use authorization applications from all 3 COVID-19 vaccine manufacturers. Okay? So here you go. The spokesperson or spokesman, the spokesman sent a statement that says, for J&J, it says, we continue to work closely with medical experts and global health authorities to assess the data on these extremely rare events. Above all, we are committed to the safety and well-being of the people who use our products, and we support public awareness of the signs and symptoms to ensure the correct diagnosis, appropriate treatment, and expedient reporting by healthcare professionals. It says, in a story published April 13th, CNN pointed out issues with part of J&J's media statement. Check this out. In statements issued later that day and the next day, the company did not repeat the claim that there had been reports of blood clots with all vaccines. The issue of blood clots and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine first arose on April 9th, when the European Medicines Agency issued a statement that it was investigating reports of blood clots among people who had received Johnson & Johnson vaccine. In response, this is it, Johnson & Johnson, or J&J, issued the media statement that day saying that, and I quote, "We are aware that thromboembolic events, including those with thrombocytopenia, have been reported with all COVID-19 vaccines." Now, thromboembolic events is a medical term for blood clots. So they were just trying to clean it up by being more technical on their reporting. Because, listen to this. The J&J statement included a footnote to the study by Lee and her colleagues, which looked at some adverse events reported after people received the COVID-19 vaccines manufactured by Pfizer BioNTech and Moderna. That study, published in February in the American Journal of Hematology, analyzed reports of people who had experienced low blood platelet levels, not blood clots. Those are entirely different entities, said Lee. The study lead, author, it's like apples and oranges. The study identified reports of 17 people who experienced low blood platelets levels. I mean, that's still something of a concern. Like, why not just say, okay, maybe it might not be the thrombic episodes. Maybe it might be, well, it's still thrombo because you're still dealing with these platelets. It's just that maybe it's not all out blood clots. I don't know, but check this out. So it says, the study identified reports of 17 people who experienced low platelet levels for the first time after receiving either the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine. The authors concluded that these reports were not surprising, given the tens of millions of people who received the vaccine. As of February 2nd, more than 30 million people in the U.S. had received at least the first dose of either Pfizer or Moderna vaccine, according to the CDC. Having low platelet counts or thrombocytopenia is not uncommon, and there can be many causes, including pregnancy, heavy alcohol consumption, and certain cancers or viral infections. Okay, so if that's the case, why are you trying to put it all on J&J? That's what I was thinking about. Like, if you're having these low platelet counts, thrombocytopenia, or that's not uncommon. And I think why they were saying uncommon, because it is synonymous with vaccines in general. Let me finish. Different types of vaccines. It says Moderna and Pfizer are mRNA vaccines, and J&J is an adenovirus vector vaccine. AstraZeneca also uses the adenovirus vector platform, and it too has been linked to a very small number of rare blood clots. The CDC monitoring through February 13th, however, found no increased incidence of certain types of blood clotting disorders or thrombocytopenia among people who received Pfizer or Moderna. Now, this is what the CDC said. They said they didn't find that, okay? I'm not knocking it. That's what they said, okay? I'm just trying to put it out there, good, bad, and ugly. Johnson & Johnson sought help. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Johnson & Johnson sought help from Pfizer and Moderna to look into reports of blood clots. But both companies declined, saying their vaccines appeared to be safe. I could just imagine right now. But J&J said, like, really? Y'all gonna go there? Y'all's appear to be safe? I'm reaching out to you all so we can all work this thing out so all Americans can be safe. And we can just give them the real, skinny on it, or the real low down skinny on it. I mean, this is messed up. Like I said, Johnson & Johnson sought help from Pfizer and Moderna to look into reports of blood clots, but both companies declined, saying their vaccines appeared to be safe. The Wall Street Journal reported on Friday, citing people familiar with this situation. AstraZeneca, however, did agree to join forces with Johnson & Johnson, according to the report. That was good for them to do that. I'm glad. But for some reason, Pfizer and Moderna said, no, we don't need to. Ours appear to be safe. We don't need to check out anymore. Just like the report, we weren't looking for no blood clots. We weren't looking for certain things like that. Why not? It says, when asked about the Wall Street Journal report, the company issued a statement to CNN saying that Johnson & Johnson, we believe, collaborative scientific exchange can lead to more robust answers to questions, particularly as it relates to the safety of patients. Okay, so that's what was said in April. Now that was April 2021. This is gonna blow your mind.
Stay tuned for the next episode. Leave a comment and share this video. Subscribe to get notifications for future episodes. Thanks for watching.